It was just payback for California. Those 7 words from Richard Childress, spoken live over team radio at Chicagoland Speedway, set the NASCAR world on fire. Was this a racing incident or cold, calculated revenge? And what exactly did Austin Hill mean when he quietly told his team, just wait? 3 crashes, 4 weeks, 2 guys who clearly aren't done with each other. Before we go any further, if you enjoy honest, in-depth NASCAR coverage, please hit that like button and subscribe. It genuinely helps more than you know. Now, let's get into it. It was Sunday at Chicagoland Speedway, during the Aero 400. Both Austin Hill, driving the number 33 Chevrolet for Richard Childress Racing, and Shane van Gisbergen, driving the number 97 for Trackhouse Racing, were buried near the back of the field, running around 28th place. Neither of these guys wanted to be where they were, and that pressure was about to explode. On lap 47 entering Turn 3, Hill moved down the track to aeroblock van Gisbergen, a completely normal, legal racing move. Every driver does it. You slide down, cut off the air to the car behind you, and slow them down slightly. But SVG did not respond the way most drivers do. He drove into that corner, far deeper than Hill, far deeper than he had on any previous lap, and slammed directly into the left rear of Hill's number 33 Chevrolet. Hill's car spun violently and hit the outside wall, backwards and hard. The damage was terminal. Hill's race was finished after just 47 of a scheduled 267 laps, leaving him with a 37th place result and his second DNF in 3 weeks. And critically, SVG said nothing on the radio about the incident. He simply kept discussing his car's handling as the yellow flag waved. The SMT throttle data told a different story. Jamie McMurray, a veteran of nearly 600 NASCAR Cup starts, examined SVG's throttle trace and stated plainly, "It's almost undeniable." He went further. "All you've got to do is go back and look at 50 other laps. They're all lifting pretty close. There's some tire wear, you lift a little earlier, but lap to lap, you just typically don't see that much difference. And when you have the onboard footage to go with it, it's hard to argue." Hill's team attempted repairs on pit road. Hill did return to the track, but not to race. He drove straight up to Van Gisbergen's car and slammed into the driver's door under caution. His team was desperate on the radio. "Big picture, Austin, please." Hill ignored them entirely. He made his point, then drove his broken car directly to the garage. That tells you everything you need to know about how Hill felt in that moment. Then came the radio exchange that everyone is talking about. Hill's team checked on him first. "You okay?" Hill's response was short and loaded. "Yep, just wait." 2 words, but those 2 words carry enormous weight. That sounds like a driver who is already planning his next move. His team understood it immediately. They told him, "Don't talk about it." The reason is straightforward. In NASCAR, penalties for intentional contact are typically only issued when a driver verbally admits intent over the radio or to media. Hill's team was protecting him legally by shutting the conversation down fast. Then spotter Derek Nealand attempted to say SVG's name on the radio, landing on Van Guggenheimer, or however you say his last name, a brief, darkly funny moment in the middle of an extremely tense situation. And then Richard Childress himself got on that radio and did not hold back. He said, "It was just payback for California." Then, somebody talked to NASCAR about that. That was blatant. And finally, that was on purpose from California. "Oh yeah, I saw it." So what is this California thing Childress keeps bringing up? To understand that, we have to rewind. The dislike between these two goes way back. In 2024, SVG and Hill clashed repeatedly in the NASCAR O'Reilly Series. At COTA 2024, they battled aggressively and cost each other the win. Kyle Larson capitalized. At Sonoma 2024, SVG beat Hill to the win and performed a burnout right alongside his rival. Hill responded by flipping off Van Gisbergen during the celebration. The tension between these two has always been real. Then came 2025. On June 14th at Pocono, Hill was racing 3 wide, slid up accidentally, and collected cars above him, including SVG's, strike 1, even if unintentional. Then, 1 week later on June 20th, came the incident that changed everything. At the street race at Naval Base Coronado in San Diego, Hill was at the front of the field on a restart, fighting for the lead. He overdived turn 1, slid wide, and slammed into Connor Zilisch, SVG's own teammate. SVG, running directly behind the wreck, had nowhere to go. Both Trackhouse racing cars were destroyed. SVG's playoff hopes took a serious hit. Hill accepted full blame. But SVG was furious. He blocked Hill's car on track so Hill couldn't drive away. He refused to speak to reporters, simply saying, "Ask the next guys." Days later, in a YouTube recap video, SVG called Hill a spud, as in a potato. He said, "2 weeks in a row, taken out by the same spud. Strike 2. And now we're back to Sunday. Strike 3. And this time, SVG was in the driver's seat of retaliation. After the race, Hill spoke to the media and was measured but direct. I'm sure y'all seen the replay, so if I have to explain it, people probably need to get glasses. When asked if it was payback, he played it smart. "I have no idea." He explained his perspective. "I was entering the corner normal. Everyone blocks everybody's air off. That's the way these cup cars are. From my standpoint, it just looked like he sped up. Who knows?" On the question of penalties, Hill kept it measured. "If there's definitive evidence, I'll leave it in NASCAR's hands." He added they haven't spoken since San Diego, not once. SVG denied everything. His response to whether it was intentional was a flat number. His explanation, "I was shooting for the bottom trying to get clean air. I was so tight, and he just chopped my nose and got in the wall. So, sorry about that. Sorry to his guys, they're always nice people, and it happens." On the prospect of talking with Hill, "I'll talk to him, but he just grunts." McMurray acknowledged SVG's radio silence was tactically smart. "I have to give SVG a little bit of a shout-out because he didn't say anything on the radio, and that is the #1 rule." Meanwhile, Dale Earnhardt Jr. stopped short of calling it intentional, but said, "I'm here for the battle between Austin Hill and SVG. That's 2 big boys, and I do not want this to end. I like the fire on the racetrack. I like the fireworks. The case for intentional contact is strong. The throttle data, the deep entry, the history, SVG's calculated radio silence, and Childress calling it blatant. The case against rests on SVG's denial, Hill's downward move, and the reality that racing incidents do happen. NASCAR hasn't confirmed a review, but one is expected during the week. The core problem remains. Proving intent without an admission is extremely difficult. Neither driver said the wrong thing on record. That makes a penalty possible, but far from certain. SVG currently sits 14th in points with 7 races remaining before the playoff cutoff. He cannot afford distractions. But Austin Hill is facing his own pressure. A second DNF in 3 weeks while filling in for Kyle Busch in the number 33. His team keeps urging him toward the big picture. Hill, clearly, is not built that way. Pocono, California, Chicagoland. This rivalry has a pattern, and that pattern says we are nowhere near done. 3 strikes in 4 weeks. And Austin Hill already told his team, "Just wait. This channel is brand new, and every single subscriber genuinely matters. If this video gave you value, please like it and subscribe." The goal is 2,000 subscribers, and your support makes that possible. We will be watching NASCAR's response closely this week. If anything drops, we will have it for you immediately. Now, the question is yours. Do you think SVG wrecked Hill on purpose? And if NASCAR doesn't step in, who do you think makes the next move? Drop your take in the comments. We genuinely want to know what you think.